There's a lot of prescription we do as opposed to like just helping people. Like, I was just on Instagram, just whatever. I was just swiping, and somebody said something like, oh, if you feed your kid junk food, then you're going to get junk food coming out or junk activity and junk behavior, right? And my initial thought was always like, all these like parenting polices, like all these parenting police, like I can't, right? But then also, a lot of kids eat junk food because that's all they can afford, right? So like we're talking about guilting parents. I just hate it. Like guilting parents because they might not be able to afford like the good stuff, right? But then I had a thought of like, why are we always telling people what to do as opposed to just helping them, right? And people always say that phrase that says like, you teach a fish, what is it? You teach a man to fish, he no, excuse me. You give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime or whatever. And my thing is like, why can't we do both? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we feed the person and then teach them how to fish also? So then they can also feed other people and then teach other people how to fish? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like we pretend to actually care about people and want to give people advice. But what we really want to do is to be like, I know something you don't know. You feel me? Like we like to lecture people. It's like this prideful thing that we do. And I don't know. What about just helping them? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened to just like, hey, I see your kid is eating a lot of junk food. I don't know how you would offer it without, but just go with me here, right? Let's assume that you all have a great relationship. Hey, I'm trying to get my kids to eat better too. What do you think? Here's some things that I'm trying, like leave people with their dignity. You feel me? But either way, like find a way to help the people as opposed to criticize them. It's just so easy and lazy to criticize people without actually helping them or without actually offering something um actually helpful. Because if you're trying to teach me how to fish, let's go back to this example, and I'm hungry, I'm not retaining any of that information. I'm not. I'm also probably going to be resentful to you because you sitting up there eating a fish sandwich and I just told you that I'm hungry, and your response is, well, let me teach you how to fish, right? Like, but you got an extra sandwich right there. You can always get another fish because you already know how to fish. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just this idea of community. I was having a conversation earlier, with someone about community, right? And how like we're always giving this advice to people like, oh, you need to do X, Y, and Z and da 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 da, right? But if we were really looking out for each other, we wouldn't have to. Not saying that we shouldn't know how to do everything, but it wouldn't be so much work for everybody to do everything for themselves, right? Like in a perfect world where people are not scamming, okay, where people are not scamming or harming people out to get people. Let's assume that we have a relationship. Okay, cool. I got a cousin that can do taxes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, a person who owns a farm. You feel me? Just like things like that. Like, you know, co-ops, like being literally cooperative, like being communal, like sharing the resources that we have so that we don't have to all be working so daggone hard. And then there'll be another generation of people who are, leaning towards a certain skill. So maybe like they're good with numbers. Okay, cool. Do you want to learn how to do taxes? Or I don't know, stuff like that. I don't know. But like there's always somebody to teach the other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just really frustrating when I see that. It's like we're always offering people advice and it's great. Like the okay, cool. Like the advice could be the advice, but you could also just help. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when I'm in a crisis, I just need some help. Okay. I just need someone to do it for me. Sometimes I don't have the capacity. I just need help right now, right? Like if my computer is broken, I could learn on my phone, I don't know, how to code and see, I'm not even a computer person, right? Like I don't know nothing about that. If I knew how to expand memory, I'm already going a little far. This is about all I know, right? From watching someone do it, but I still don't know how to do it. I'm still going to send my computer to those people because they're skilled in that thing. They know how to do, that's what they do. You feel me? Could I learn how to do it? Sure. But I'm also going to miss out on time to use my computer, right? Or I might miss out on money if I'm working from home. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know, it's just a thought. Because I think at the heart of it, what's really frustrating to me is that it really feels like people, how should I say this? Like those people don't actually care about those people. You know what I mean? Like these people don't actually see a need and they're like, oh my gosh, let me offer these services to help you and then I'll teach you how to do it too, right? Like, no, these people are using these other people to feel smart. These people are using these other people to, feel big. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I know something you don't know. It's like exclusivity. Like people even in that, like they gatekeep information because they find that exclusive. Like, oh, I have resources to things you don't know. It's just so weird. Like the human experience is just people are very interesting. When really if everybody knows how to fish, right? First of all, let's start there. Teach a man to fish. Why don't the people know how to fish? Okay? Why don't the people know how to fish? Why, like, does that make sense? Because the fish has been gate kept from somebody, like from people. You feel me? Like somebody is benefiting for the people not to not know how to fish. Anyway, moving forward, like I just feel very frustrated when I see stuff like that because it's just like you don't actually care. And it's very snooty and it's just very ugly. You know what I mean? Like ugly in the way that our grandmas meant when we were acting up, like you acting ugly, right? Like it's just mean. And I think that's how this is kind of making a slight left, but I think when people say things also like, "Oh, I'm praying for you," right? Like and obviously like, yeah, sure, pray. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Yes, absolutely pray for me. But if you have the means to do something, why are we praying? Stop praying. Like a lot of Christians need to stop praying and start doing something. You feel me? Like we do a lot of I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but it's like performing Christianity. Like we say the words and we repeat the scriptures and all these different things, but like we don't really be acting out the word. You feel me? Like because the word actually calls us to be of service to people. You know what I mean? And that's too hard. That's too hard. And so like what's easier is to say, "Oh, I'm praying for you," knowing good and well you actually don't care about this at all. Like a lot of people be like, and I think about churches in this way too, because churches be getting on my nerves too. Because how are people in your let's assume that this church is like well to do. It has a great building, people on staff and all this other stuff. Like, how are y'all affording this, but people in your congregation are struggling to make ends meet? Like, little Timmy needs some shoes. You feel me? Or, Miss Coretta down the street, like her lights are about to get cut off. Like, but you all have this great building. And we put all this energy and stock into things that don't matter because the people, these specific kind of people, they don't care. They don't care. They care about the money. They care about the access. They care about the fame and the privilege and all this other stuff. But like we have an altar calls bringing people down to break them off of to break off the spirit of poverty. But they tithe into you every Sunday, giving their last to you. Like you're how their needs get met. Why are you praying for them? Pray for them in general, sure. Keep them at the top of your mind. Think well of them. Wonderful, right? And also, you have money. There should be no one in your congregation struggling to pay their bills. That does not make any sense. This is a community. They, I, I'm getting so frustrated. I'd be getting so frustrated because it just doesn't make any sense to me. And like what that shows is that these people are liars. They're lying. They don't worship God. Like, because what the scripture talk about, like how you treat the least of these, like you treat me, talking about Jesus. Like, you understand that y'all cry to Jesus and pray to Jesus and all this other stuff, and you treat Jesus, the least of these, like trash. But you think you're somehow being holy and like, and it's obviously like this Christian, and I use this word like Christian supremacy. I know. It's just go with me, right? Like with this idea that there are some Christians who, how can I say this? There are some Christians, I'm just gonna say it. There are some Christians who love the idea of hell, right? Because they love the idea of being able to put someone in hell. And hell is not a place that they don't think they're going. So like they think they're above people. Like they see hell as like this place where people are going to struggle and like strength. You know what I'm saying? Like they find that pleasant. It's sick, right? So some of these Christians need a hell to put people in, right? Every time I hear of hell, even my worst enemy, if hell exists, I mourn, I fear. I don't want that person in hell. Like when we say, oh, okay. And my friend Marcus, we have this conversation about Christianity and hell, and he says something like, if hell existed, people ain't acting like it. Okay? Like, people sure are not acting like it. Like, because we would be running through the streets, right? Like, we would be like, oh my God, like, no, I don't want you. Like, we would come from a place of compassion. That's what I'm trying to say. If let's say all this stuff is real, you should be coming from a place of compassion. And so if you're coming from a place of compassion, I don't want anyone to be in hell. You feel me? And like that fear is why I would, start telling people about Christ. And, my thoughts have since changed about a lot of stuff. So whatever, that's beside the point. But like, that was where I was coming from. Like when they tell you, oh, go out and, spread the gospel and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. Cause I don't want nobody to go to hell, but also I got anxiety. I don't like doing this. And that's another conversation for another day. But like the joy that people get is not godlike. It's not Christlike. You know what I mean? And so because some people are coming from that perspective, of course, they love the idea of like having something to lord over other people. You feel me? It's like, oh, it's the same thing. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. All these different things. That's why it's like, that's not Jesus. I don't know what y'all was reading, but it ain't that. It's not that. Like, pastors and leaders and stuff are doing the exact opposite of what Jesus actually called for us to do. Like, y'all call yourselves Christian, but you're not taking care of the elderly. Hello? You're not taking care of the poor. Y'all hate women. Like, what? Anyway, I feel like I'm on a tangent now. But either way, let's go back. Okay, prayer. Some people, I just get real passionate because I don't like that. But some people say they're going to pray about it, but they've already made up their mind that they're not going to do nothing about it. Some people say like, oh, I'm going to pray. I'm praying for them. I'm praying for them. When you could pick up the phone and talk to them. Like, what are we praying for? And then like there's scripture that actually talks about, like Moses. So the story of Moses is like they're leaving Egypt, right? And they get to the sea and drop something. And so Moses looks at God and is like, yo, like, these Egyptians are after us. What you gonna do? Like, what are you doing? And so God basically says to Moses, like, what did I put in your hand? Right. And so Moses has a staff and like the staff does things and he uses the staff to part the sea. Okay. So like then they can walk, through the dry ground on the other side. So anyway, so I'm using that example because in a lot of ways, I think that we'd be praying, Christians specifically, oh, I'm going to pray about it. I'm going to da-da-da. And God is looking at y'all like, what you looking at me for? Like, what did I put in your hands? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want? Like, I gave you everything. And I feel like what really frustrates me is if people actually followed scripture like they were talking about, like, there would be no need in the world. Like, you understand. There would be no people unhoused. There would be no people unfed. Like, we would be taking care of our elders and the people that you literally look down on the most. It's just so frustrating. And a lot of times I struggle with like, oh, should I talk about it or should I not? Because I don't want to defame Christ and all these other things. But also at the same time, no, somebody has to tell the truth. Like, I'm tired of the Christian community online. It's just very performative. It's just manipulative. It's leading people astray. It's just like, there are so many Christian channels right now that are just like gossip channels. They talking down on gossiping people and how like, oh, these people are awful. Y'all do the same thing. You do it under the guise of, what is it? And I'm not talking about the people who are like calling out the people, because yes, okay, we need y'all. We need people to call a thing, say what is correct. Like I follow Miss Deanne, for example, on YouTube, and she be setting things straight, okay? But like a lot of channels though, like it's just like a gossip, it's just like a gossip vlog. And like I don't understand because you talking down on these people, but you're doing the same thing. You know, so anyway, like I'm just tired of Christians specifically. Okay, I'm tired of us lying. I'm tired of us being hypocritical. I'm tired of us, you know what I'm saying we're going to do something and we don't. Like, I'm just tired of us using Christianity to harm people. I'm tired of us being joyous about the idea. It's just so sick to me. A lot of stories that I read in the Bible, and this is why I struggle with my own faith, okay? God sounds mean, okay? Like, I'm sorry. Like, when I hear about the ways that people were murdered or like harmed in the Bible, it grieves me. I don't read those scriptures and I'm like, oh my God, yay, like these people died. No, like I grieve. Like I'm sad. I ask God, why would you do that? Couldn't there have been a better way? You know what I'm saying? That didn't involve people dying. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. It's just, for people that are flawed, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't know. Anyway, so I read scriptures like that and it doesn't make me happy. So even the idea of like people burning for an eternity, like it doesn't make me happy. It does like, if hell was real, right? Let's say that hell was real. I wouldn't want anyone to be there. Like no one. But there are some Christians who are like, that's why you going to H. That's why you going to hell. That's why you're going to hell. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say that because it just feels so like, it feels so damning. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's why you're going to H. And I just don't understand how you could say something so evil to someone. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And then use that as use their using air quotes like damnation to justify you being nasty. I don't know. It's just a lot. It's a lot of thoughts and a lot of thoughts I got. But if you are going to proclaim Christ, then you need to be serving the people. You know what I'm saying? Like, if nothing but that, like, why are you praying? Like, okay, that's like little, you know, like a man comes up to you in the church, you know, and he's like a youth, that's so churchy. A youth comes up to you and like, yeah, you know, I really want to go on this field trip, but, you know, my parents, you know, their parents are like struggling with money, you know, because that happens. You know, and it's like $40, but, you know, they can't spare it or whatever. And in your mentorship, you're like, oh, I'm gonna pray about it. Even though you got $40 to spare to give him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Is that a bad example? I'm not sure, but that's just how it feels. That's just how it feels to me. Like, first of all, y'all not praying. Second of all, do something. Stop praying and do something. And the reason why it's frustrating is because a lot of Christians use this, and it's not everybody, okay? I'm sorry. If it's not you, it's not you. But there are a lot of people, and y'all know there are a lot of people who use this lie that they're going to pray about it to justify them not doing it. You know what I'm saying? To justify them not doing what would actually sacrifice them to do, which is what we're called to do. You feel me? Like, I'm not saying, you know, you should give your last dime. I'm not saying that if you ain't got it, don't give it, right? But if you feel that, like, if you have it to spare, wouldn't that be the right thing to do? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But yes, okay. I think my thoughts are complete. I just needed to express this because, like, I'm just tired of it. All of it exhausts me. All the show, all of the talk and it's just too much. Like, it's too much. It's too much talking, not enough walking, I guess pun intended. But like, seriously, like we're talking about like walking with Christ and living like Christ. And it's like, and I'm looking around, I'm like, that don't look like that. Like, pointing to the Bible. That don't look like that. Like we be useless. Like we literally be useless in the world. Useless. Like, and the people you're looking down on are doing the most work in the community. The people that you call and using air quotes sinful are the most are the people acting the most like Christ, actually helping people, actually being in the community, actually doing good. You know what I'm saying? So stop using Jesus and Christianity and everything else as a cover for the fact that you're just not interested. Like, what does the Bible be like? Just let your yes be yes or your no be no. Just say yes or no. You feel me? Like, all that extra stuff, like, say no and then move out the way so that somebody else can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. It's okay to say no. You feel me? I don't know. I'm just, because there are other people in the community that don't mind teaching the man to fish and also feeding him, giving him what he needs, so to speak. You know? Okay. All right. Thank you for listening. Okay. Bye. Oh, wait. Okay. Hold on. No, I'm back, because the whole reason why I brought that up, is because, like, why are you scolding? I mean, yes. Okay. Let's go back. Why are you scolding these parents for what they might not know about feeding their kids, about snacks or something like that, right? Why are we not addressing the root of the problem, which is these snacks exist in the first place? And, the FDA, listen, I don't think they really care about us. But, like, I also feel like you can also offer some tips. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, instead of this, here's some options for this or whatever, right? And if you have some snacks in your bag, I mean, I know it's on Facebook, Instagram. But if you have some snacks on hand, offering that kid, well, you can't, never forget it, because you can't give kids snacks. Never mind. Back. But yes, as opposed to scolding and shaming, right? We can actually teach with care and compassion and empathy, as opposed to, like, I know something you don't know. You should know better. Why don't you know this already? It's like, okay, if we've established they don't know, who's going to tell them? Who's going to fix it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't work. Shame works. Shame will work. And that's how you get people who don't ask for help, because, like, they're too afraid of being scolded for what they don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But yeah, if we see a need, that's my point. Let's bring it back. If we see a need, or if we see, something happening over and over again, like, why don't we address the root of the problem? You know what I mean? Especially as, like, believers, like, it just don't sit right with me, and I'm tired of it. It's just something that I've noticed. But we have everything that we need. I really do feel like every person has the need, the ability to meet somebody else's need. You know what I mean? Like, they have the thing that somebody needs. And with all of our resources combined, with our powers combined, with all of our resources combined, like, we can take care of each other. We can meet the need that we're praying for. There's, like, yeah, like, sure, there's praying in general, sure, but, like, there's a solution to this problem and you have it. So why don't you give it to the person, if you feel led to, or whatever, or just say no, But, like, to lead people on with the false hope of, like, oh yeah, I'm praying for you, and you're really not. You're just, like, deciding not to do it. I don't know. It just feels wrong to me. But okay, now I'm really done. All right. Bye. Thanks for listening again. Bye-bye.